Welcome to this week's edition of CUTV Newscenter. I'm Danny Beck.
And I'm Ryan Kaufman. The Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education is conducting a nationwide search for a new permanent chancellor after the retirement of Chancellor Brogan earlier this year. As for now, the Board of Governors of Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education selected Karen Whitney to serve as the interim chancellor effective September 12th. Whitney is the former president of Clarion University and had been the longest-serving president in the state system prior to her stepping down. Whitney outlined the three priorities she will tackle in her time as interim chancellor. Number one, student success. Number two, leveraging the strengths of all 14 universities to collectively advance the Commonwealth. And number three, all universities must continue on. After having been in her Q&A session earlier this month, it is clear that point three is the most important to show that the state system is strong and will thrive on student success.
If you've been walking downtown through California this past week, you may have noticed something that caught your eye. Across the street from Quick Fill and Rite Aid, two structures now stand in an attempt to beautify the borough of California. The California Recreation Department installed an urban art project that is titled Color Your Stress Away. The two structures have a pattern on the front with boxes of crayons on either side that allow members of the community, along with students of California University of Pennsylvania, to take part in the fun. As technology advances, so too does California University of Pennsylvania with the addition of a solar-powered charging station that is designed for laptops, smartphones, and tablets. The station has two benches along with 4 commercial-quality solar panels above that can support 75 to 150 cell phone charges per day. CalU is the first university in the state to install this Pennsylvania-made product on campus. The all-weather charging station also has LED lighting so that students could use the chargers at any time. The convenient location also gives the charging station easy access to everyone across campus. The only kicker is the charging station is BYOC, or bring your own charger.
CUTV and the Pennsylvania Cable Network have been working together for almost 20 years to bring exciting high school football coverage to your television. This year's edition did not disappoint as Bell Vernon played host to the Trinity High School.
From James Weir Stadium in Rostraver, Pennsylvania, it's CUTV's Game of the Week live on PCN and on CUTV. Hello and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Anthony D'Agostino, and alongside me today is Danny Beck. And Danny, we have a good one here today. 5-0 Bell Vernon versus 2-2 Trinity.
California University Television and the Pennsylvania Cable Network celebrated 19 years of broadcasting high school football live across the state this year, featuring Trinity High School and Bell Vernon High School. Dylan Goday and Danny Beck were two of the three announcers for the game. Here's their take.
Hello, I'm Dylan Goday, and joined alongside me is Danny Beck. And Danny, we're at the site of the CUTV Game of the Week, and this is a special Game of the Week this week.
It most definitely is. PCN, Pennsylvania Cable Network, out here tonight. It's something that they've been doing since, I believe, 1999 with CUTV, so it definitely gives us practice over, I believe, 11 million homes.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool opportunity for us students here, getting the opportunity to broadcast statewide through the whole state of Pennsylvania, as well as a special field as well, gold turf here at Bell Vernon. A cool setup, not too far from Cal as well, so a lot of these students here may be coming Cal's way, so it's a cool opportunity to get their school broadcasted here on CUTV.
The Bell Vernon Leopards were the ones ringing the victory bell at the end of the night, as Trinity High School couldn't punch into the end zone one last time, which allowed Bell Vernon to run down the clock on a 28-21 thriller. CUTV's next high school game of the week will feature 5-1 Rochester at 7-0 California High School this Friday the 13th. Hopefully the two teams won't have too much bad luck. For CUTV Newscenter, I'm Ryan Kaufman. Since my last appearance on Newscenter, a lot has happened in the Trump administration, and I wanted to highlight the casualties that have happened this year. Here now is a look at who left and who was fired from Trump's cabinet. The casualties of the Trump administration have been adding up through the first year of his tenure, and some have been more controversial than others. Price, Gorka, Scaramucci, Yates, and Flynn, to name a few. But of recent, the most notable were the abrupt exits of Sean Spicer and Steve Bannon. Bannon was not too much of a surprise after he contradicted the president in an interview on North Korea. Bannon was looked at as the most controversial member of his cabinet, but the main driving force of Trump's nationalist views. He was fired after serving 210 days. Next, the embattled former press secretary Sean Spicer. Spicer's relationship with the press was less than ideal, as he took aim at every news organization that didn't show Trump in a good light. Sean resigned after Trump named Anthony Scaramucci as the new communications director, who Spicer openly opposed. Sean resigned after 182 days. Finally, James Comey, the former FBI director who led the charge on the Hillary Clinton email scandal and the investigation into then-candidate Trump's campaign and the role Russia had, including with the campaign. Trump fired Comey only after 110 days into his administration, citing his handling of the Hillary Clinton email server case as his main reason for firing Comey. The Trump administration did not expect the backlash or reverberations the firing would have created, as the Democrats called out Trump for firing Comey during the investigation into Russia meddling in his own campaign. Trump fired back on Twitter with, "The Democrats have said some of the worst things about James Comey, including the fact that he should be fired, but now they play so sad." Between July 21st, Sean Spicer's resignation, and October 6th, there have been 11 Fridays, and 5 of them have had a firing or resignation. The next possible Trump casualty could be Rex Tillerson, as he's drawing criticism for saying the president speaks for himself and not the cabinet. We'll have to see if this Friday the 13th will hold back bad luck for another Trump cabinet member or not. For CUTV Newscenter, I'm Ryan Kaufman.
Tensions with North Korea continue to rise as both Trump and the administration in Pyongyang fuel the fire of war. The latest installment of the communication from either side was ignited after Trump called Kim Jong-un a rocket man on a suicide mission, which was answered by multiple nuclear tests from the dictator-run North Korea. U.S. bombers have also conducted multiple tests with the South Korean Air Force over the Korean Peninsula. Since July 3rd, when North Korea fired their first intercontinental ballistic missile test, Trump's criticism has stirred a fire in the North Korean capital, leading to multiple threats against the United States. The tensions have reached a new high as Un stated that the U.S. and North Korea have a final score to settle that cannot be settled with words. And Ryan, you mentioned in your package, if you will, the PCN game, and that's, I believe, the 19th year that PCN and CUTV have really teamed up. And what are your thoughts about that?
It was really cool to see how it worked behind the scenes. I've done this, I think this is my 3rd year going behind the scenes on this particular shoot. And it was more interesting at this one because I got to go on the field and actually be down there with the referees, the coaches, and everyone and listen to the talking that was going on in the field. Some was a little, can't say that. So it was just interesting to be able to see the different perspectives and see what it was like behind the scenes and check out everything.
Yeah, it's just a great opportunity for us as students. I believe it was 11 million homes that was broadcasted to. So I know a lot of the people in the media suite, they were all tuning in, and I'm sure many other people across the state were, but it's just a great opportunity all around.
It was. I won't be sad. I won't be here for the next one. I was going to say I can't wait for the next one, but yeah. For you guys,
I'll be here.
At least.
I'll be here. Yeah. Nonetheless, when we come back after the break, Dylan Goday will have your forecast live on set. Stay tuned.
Dylan, what's wrong, man?
I just don't know how my family back home in Buchanan, West Virginia can watch our stuff up here.
They can follow us on Twitter, or they can like us on Facebook.
That's awesome. What about our sports? How can they watch that?
They could watch it live right on our YouTube channel.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
You're welcome.
For the first time in 31 years, live high school football all season long on CUTV Sports 1.
Welcome back to CUTV Newscenter. I'm Dylan Goday with your weather report. And again, no weather this week, but I'm a meteorology major, so I'll fill the void. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast here. And today, Thursday, the temperature was around 70 degrees. The cloudy skies gave way to some sunny skies if you're traveling out tonight. Friday is 74 degrees there, warming up a bit. And Saturday looks like the nicest day we've seen in quite some time, 82 degrees there. And drop to a low around 70 degrees. Sunday will be 80 degrees. The sun will be blocked by some clouds there. And Monday, then it starts to feel like fall. I know it hasn't felt like fall quite yet, but it will cool down there to the low around 40 degrees there Monday night. And guys, that looks like quite the forecast. So you couldn't ask for much better of a homecoming weekend.
Absolutely not. I'm most looking forward to the Monday forecast there. That low is perfect to me.
Yeah, it's about time we've had some low temperatures. I mean, this week we've had 80-degree temperatures, hot and muggy, but that day, 59 degrees, 40-degree low temperature. That
just like the perfect fall day.
It most definitely is, and I haven't worn like jeans at all this entire semester. Actually, no, for the one shoot we have for the high school football games, but during the day and stuff like that, you don't really know what to wear. Waking up in the morning, you're like, I don't know if I should be wearing jeans or shorts or anything like that.
Something I've noticed, it's been very muggy, and I think that'll begin to change heading into next week. We have a system coming through that'll dry things out, which I think will be good for us.
Yeah, most definitely will be.
I can only hope. I love that cooler weather. All right, coming up next, Stephen Ruffing will give us a glimpse into this weekend's homecoming events and a look at the new The Last Jedi trailer in his entertainment report. Stay tuned.
CUTV Newscenter is California University of Pennsylvania's award-winning student television newscast, your source for live, local, late-breaking news. Forecasts from the CalU Weather Center, the region's latest entertainment news, Vulcan sports highlights and regional scoreboards, with television news coverage you can't get anywhere else. Watch it live Thursdays on CUTV and on demand. CUTV Newscenter, online all the time.
Welcome back to CUTV News Center. I'm Stephen Ruffing with your entertainment report. Our campus radio station, WCAL, has a number of talented DJs. Reporter Zoe Webster shows us who's on the dial this week.
Hello everybody, I'm Zoe Webster, and today on the dial we are going to be interviewing Evan Pepper. So Evan, can you tell us a little bit about your major?
I am a commercial music technology major with a minor in technical theater design.
How were you introduced to the station?
Over the summer, me and Emily knew each other already, so she told me that she was involved. And then when I got here and I actually started, it was Eddie. I started training with him, and he's the one that actually had me stick around.
What is your favorite memory of the station?
Probably during the lock-in last year. I was doing my 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. shift, and I fell asleep on the floor, and Alicia, who was next, had to come in and wake me up and be like, hey, it's my turn.
Let's talk about your favorite artists and music that you like to play on your shows.
My favorite artist is Nevada Color, like a small band in Pittsburgh. But at the All Time Low concert, there was this band called The Rex that opened, and they only have 3 songs released, but they're starting to be my new favorite.
So speaking of your shows, when are your shows?
Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. is the alternative option. Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. is Flip the Table, and Fridays from 6 to 10 p.m. is the Long Island Takeover.
So be sure to listen, everybody. Well, thank you for talking to us today, Evan. Thank you for watching. For CUTV News Center, this has been Zoe Webster on the dial.
As homecoming approaches, the school is still looking for its king and queen. Students gathered in the Natali food court to see who made this year's homecoming court. King and queen candidates consist of the duo Megan Maturo and Dylan Gaudet, the partnership of Mari Boyle and Cody Ambrose, the couple of Jordan Cunningham and Corey Cottom, the combo of Ivy Jackson and Joe Fuco, and the team of Rudine Jackson and Michael Mertz. Congratulations and best of luck to all the candidates. As homecoming week goes on, there will be several events before the announcement of homecoming king and queen on Saturday, October 14th. Underground will have pop singer and CalU alumnus Nick Barilla tonight, October 12th at 9 p.m. Friday the 13th, there will be a pep rally held on the blue basketball courts next to Hamer Hall from 5 to 7 in the evening, sponsored by the Black Student Union. This will all lead up to the parade and the announcing of King and Queen on Saturday. Student Activities Board is hosting an event that is taking students on a trip to see School of Rock, the musical, next Wednesday, October 18th. Bus transportation will be provided by the organization and will leave at 5:30 in the evening from Mandarino Library. Tickets are only $15, so join SAB and your peers for a musical to remember. Star Wars is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, movie franchise in cinematic history. The saga was brought back to life 2 years ago with the release of The Force Awakens. The newest addition to the franchise's rebirth is The Last Jedi, and the first official trailer was just released earlier this week and left longtime and recent fans filled with confusion and excitement. If you live under a rock and missed the trailer, sit back and enjoy.
When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
Something inside me has always been there. But now it's awake. And I need help.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now. Let the past die. Kill it. If you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be. We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down. Come on! This is not going to go the way you think. Fulfill your destiny.
I need someone to show me my place in all this.
The next chapter in the Skywalker saga arrives this Christmas. And to round out entertainment for this week, we have The Jungle Book in the Vulcan Theater. Raised by a family of wolves since birth, Mowgli must leave the only home he's ever known when the fearsome tiger Shere Khan unleashes his mighty roar. Guided by a no-nonsense panther and a free-spirited bear, the young boy meets an array of jungle animals, including a slithery python and a smooth-talking ape. Along the way, Mowgli learns valuable lessons as his epic journey of self-discovery leads to fun and adventure. Show times are 11 a.m., 7 p.m., 10 p.m., Monday through Friday, and 4, 7, 10 p.m., Saturday through Sunday. Ryan, just real quick, great to have you back on set. And you'll be joining me Saturday for the parade, the homecoming parade. We'll be announcing it together.
I will be. It's my first time announcing. I can't wait to call the touchdowns and the three-point shots out there. So
it's not exactly how it works.
It's close.
Right,
It's
but
close.
this homecoming week, it's always nice because everyone's all smiles. Everything's great, and it's a real great feel. We have Dylan Godet, who just got announced on the homecoming court, so all is well in Cal U right now.
It most definitely is. Shameless plug. I mean, hopefully he wins. I was going to say vote for Dylan, but voting's already over.
Right.
But nonetheless, we're going to be cheering him on from in the booth. We're going to be announcing the game. You and I believe, are going to be announcing the game. So we're going to be cheering him on the entire time.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see all the floats that the fraternities and the sororities work together on, all the fire trucks. That's a big one for the parade. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait.
Absolutely.
And thanks, Steve. And when we come back, Dylan Godet will give us the sports report. Stay tuned.
Vulcan football is back. August 31st versus Ohio Dominican. September 9th versus Cheney. September 16th at Millersville. September 23rd versus Seton Hill. September 30th at Slippery Rock. October 14th versus Clarion. October 21st at Gannon. October 28th versus Mercyhurst. November 4th at Edinburgh. November 11th at East Stroudsburg. Catch all the action live with your home of the Vulcans. CUTV Sports 1 on YouTube and radio on 91.9 FM WCAL.
Dylan, what's wrong, man?
I just don't know how my family back home in Buchanan, West Virginia can watch our stuff up here.
They can follow us on Twitter or they can like us on Facebook.
That's awesome. What about our sports? How can they watch that?
They could watch it live right on our YouTube channel.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Do you want information on the 2017 Vulcan football team? Look no further than the Gary Dunn Show.
I was really proud of our efforts, especially from our senior class that had been through a lot, and for those guys to walk out of here with the PSAC championship.
Coach looks back on last week's game and looks ahead to the upcoming opponent.
You know, we're really starting over and trying to build that foundation for the 2017 season.
Don't miss Vulcan highlights, PSAC standings, schedules, and much, much more.
Save preset 1 for Cal U's best music. More music in the car, more music in the door, more music everywhere. This is 91.9 WCAL Power 92. The home of the Vulcan Nation, playing Cal U's best music. 91.9 WCAL. WCAL Power 92.
Welcome back to CUTV Newscenter. I'm Dylan Goday with your sports report. Starting off with Vulcan football tonight. This past weekend, California took on Indiana University of Pennsylvania for the 9th annual Coal Bowl. No highlights this week, sadly, as ESPN had coverage of this one. Let's take a look at the scoreboard from this rivalry matchup. IUP scored only 26 points, but that was enough to beat California 26-10. California was held without scoring in the whole second half in this matchup. This actually drops California out of the top 25 standings. Michael Keir finished with 232 yards passing and a touchdown on the night. Jimmy Wheeler was the only Vulcan running back over 50 yards there, finished with 59 yards rushing. And Tom Green had a great day receiving with 109 receiving yards. And California looks to bounce back this weekend in a homecoming matchup. Although we weren't able to have football highlights, CUTV was able to do our first volleyball broadcast of the year for a PSAC Southwest matchup between the Vulcans and the Seton Hill Griffins. Let's head to the Convocation Center to see how this one turned out. In the first set, after the Griffins jumped out to a 17-10 lead, Hallie Murdoch sent one home to cut the margin for the Vulcans. Seton Hill managed to be all over the place defensively here in this one. It would not be enough, though, as the Griffins were able to capture the win in the first set, as you can see here, with a nice little placed ball to give Seton Hill the 25-17 lead. Now on into the second set as Maddie McGee gets one into the net, and it lands out of bounds, giving the Seton Hill a 25-10 lead in the second set. Into the third now, after California came up with a strong start, the Griffins ended the night on a ball out of bounds by Vulcan's Maggie McGee. Seton Hill was just too much for the Vulcans, picking up a 3-0 win. These two teams were tied atop the PSAC Southwest standings heading into the matchup. The Vulcans look to bounce back Friday night at home against Mercyhurst. And here's a look at the scoreboard. Again, Seton Hill, 3-0 win over California. California, though, has 2 straight home games to bounce back from this. They were on a tear, winning 5 of the last 6 games heading into this one. So look for them to bounce back against Mercyhurst Friday night. Actually going to soccer scoreboards now. First, we're going to have the men's soccer scoreboard as they took on the Westchester Rams, and they finished with a 5-1 loss, there. California looks to bounce back this weekend, though, as they travel to Shippensburg. Now on into women's soccer. It was a closer game here. They only fell 2-1 there to Westchester. They also traveled to Shippensburg Friday. So again, playing these PSAC East opponents, they're looking to bounce back. This past weekend, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series began the second round of the playoffs at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Bank of America 500. let's head down to the heart of NASCAR country for this week's NASCAR recap. Denny Hamlin led the field to green in the start of round 2 of the NASCAR playoffs. On lap 42, Ryan Newman, who was eliminated from the playoffs after round 1, gets loose and collects the 14 car of Clint Boyer. This tough break ended the day early for the 31 team. The rest of the stage was clean, however, and Kevin Harvick was able to pick up his first stage win of the 2017 playoffs. On lap 137, one of the championship favorites, Kyle Busch, gets around and suffers significant damage to the right side of his car. This wreck was a huge blow to Busch's point standings, who was in second place heading into the weekend. So a big loss there for a guy that's been atop the board all season long. At the end of stage 2, it was still the 4 car of Kevin Harvick at the point. Could he hold on and win this one? We're about to find out. On lap 331, after a late restart, Harvick's teammate Kurt Busch gets loose and collects another championship favorite, the 42 car of Kyle Larson. Larson was luckily able to hold on for a top 10 finish. On to the last lap now, as Martin Truex Jr., who has dominated most of the 2017 season, picks up his 6th win of the year. This makes Truex the first driver to advance to the 3rd round of the playoffs. Looking at the standings now, Truex sits at the top, followed by Larson, Kevin Harvick, and Chase Elliott. Kyle Busch, after wrecking out of the race on Sunday, fell to 6th. For several weeks, it has been Busch and Truex at 1 and 2, but now due to this new playoff format, points week in and week out are so very important. This race Sunday is at the famous Talladega Superspeedway. A lot of storylines heading into this one, but the biggest one is that this will be Dale Jr.'s last race at NASCAR's largest track. If you know anything about NASCAR, you know just how much this one will mean to him. And now taking a look at the upcoming schedules for this week, we have a big weekend for homecoming weekend. Football will be at home at 3 p.m. against Clarion, so make sure you head out to that matchup. But before that, the volleyball game will be playing against Mercyhurst there on Friday night at 7 p.m., and they also play again at 1 p.m. on Saturday. The men's and women's cross-country teams will be hosting the PSAC Championships next weekend, so make sure you head out to that as well. A couple of exciting things planned with that as well. And the men's and women's soccer teams will be at Shippensburg again Friday for the men's at 1:30, and the women's team will start at 4 p.m. The men's golf team will be at Cedarville, Ohio for the Cedarville Invitational this Saturday. And women's golf, no women's golf this weekend. I couldn't quite find where their next game is, so keep on the lookout there for women's golf. And this week's Vulcan Hammer Award goes to the 2007 California Vulcans football team. The California football program will recognize one of the more decorated teams in school history during Saturday's homecoming game. The team finished with a 13-1 record and finished number 4 in the National AFC Coaches Poll. And Danny and Ryan here, NASCAR standings, our man there, Chase Elliott, making his way up to 4th. Last graphic we had, he was back in 8th. Him and Kevin Harvick have been on a tear these last 2 weeks.
They most definitely have, and it kind of seems weird being that Jimmy Johnson kind of seemed like he was the benchmark for Hendrick Motorsports, and then all of a sudden Chase Elliott just comes in here and makes his presence known, I guess you could say. But yeah, you really got me into NASCAR. I know we talked a few weeks ago on CUTV Newscenter about just honestly getting into the sport, and it's a great sport. I love it.
Shout out to Matt Heggie, who got me back into NASCAR this year. I grew up on NASCAR, was raised on NASCAR, so fell away from it, kind of fallen away from it right now. But just found out earlier today, Amy Earnhardt will drive the pace car at Martinsville ahead of his last race.
Yeah, I found that as well. That's one of his last ones there. Again, he loves driving a Martinsville, and that'll be cool. I don't think that's ever been done, a wife of a driver. Just this whole season with his, they call it the Appreciation Tour, spelled with the 88 there. He's hasn't been known for his wins really in NASCAR, but what he's done for the sport, just with the amount of fans that he has. He's won the most popular driver every year since his father passed away. So that's just been, and he hasn't gotten in trouble. He's not one of those sports stars that gets in trouble with the law or anything like that. He always stays true to his fans.
Yeah, it just shows, I mean, you said that hasn't really happened with a wife or a significant other of a driver. That just shows how much of an impact he has really had on the sport.
Yeah, and they haven't even been together for that long, so that's still pretty cool that they're now married, that she gets the opportunity to do that. This will be very special for her.
Without a doubt. And thank you, Dylan, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on CUTV Newscenter.
Be sure to check out our YouTube channel at CUTV Newscenter and our Twitter page at CUTV_PA.
Don't forget that the Cal Times will also be publishing a new edition of their paper 1 week from now on campus. Also tune in to WCAL 91.9 FM in your car or online at sai.calu.edu/WCAL.
Thanks for watching and have a safe homecoming weekend.